بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And we are continuing with our studies of التعبير القرآني. Although like we mentioned last time, we would just do a simple revision of السببية, and then we'll continue with our studies of التعبير القرآني. We're currently on page 42. But before we get into that, so let's just look at what fa as-sababiyya is. Now, when we were discussing the kinds of fa last time, we said that fa as-sababiyya, or the causal fa, is the kind of fa that makes the mudari' mansub, and it is assumed that there's an an before it. So fa'an plus mudari'. Okay? So that's the idea. But this an is يعني مضمرة, it's hidden, or it's understood, right? That's the idea. And what the purpose that it serves is that it gives a reason for what comes after, right? What comes after, or it is the cause of whatever comes after. So the way I like to remember this is that A is a reason for B, or B is a result of A. Whichever phrase is easier for you to understand. If A is the reason for B is easier for you to remember, then go with that. Or if B is a result of A is easier to understand, then go with that. They both mean the same thing. So you either go with this, or you go with this. They mean the same thing, and I'll explain what that means, right? But just remember, when you're talking about fa sababiyya, B is a result of A, or A is the reason for B, right? That's what fa السببية is all about. And like we said, it makes the فعل مضارع منصوب بأن مضمرة وجوبا. This an is a mandatory an that is, it's assumed, right? It's just imagined. It's not like it's there, but it's just understood. The other thing about fa السببية, it must be preceded by two things, either a nafi or a talab. A nafi, we understand. This is negation. Yeah? لا يذهب خالد. Khalid does not go. Right? This is a negation. Right? Or ما أكل زيد. That's a negation. Right? So any kinds of negation, or something we call a talab. And this is basically where our conversation is going to be centered on and focused on, because a talab is not just one thing, it's a number of things. So nafi, we understand what a nafi is. But what's a talab? Now, a talab in Arabic can be a number of things. Now, if you've done balagha studies, you've probably encountered two kinds of sentences, jumla khabariya and jumla insha'iyya, right? Jumla khabariya is me giving a factual statement. For example, if I say, it's hot today, that's a factual statement, right? If the temperature is high, I would say it is hot today. That's a factual statement. You can actually, say false to that statement. Maybe it's not factual. Maybe I am making a false argument. So you can actually respond by saying false. It is not hot today. It is actually cold. So you can respond by saying false. You can falsify the statement. Or you can affirm the statement and say, oh, true. Yes, it is hot today. So when you have a factual statement, jumla khabariya, you can either falsify it or attest to its truth, right? So you can either call it a false statement or a true straight statement, right? If I say, for example, it's Tuesday today, somebody can say, no, false. It's actually Saturday, right? Because that's a jumla khabariya, and we can either call it false or true. It can either be false or it can either be true. Now, jumla insha'iyya is a type of sentence that you cannot say false to it, or you cannot make it, you cannot falsify it, or you cannot claim it's true or false. For example, if I say, don't go out today, don't go out today, can you say false to that statement? Can you say no, false? What do you mean false? It's not a false statement. I'm not trying to say a statement of fact. I'm forbidding you from doing something. So you cannot say false. Don't go out today, false. No, I mean, I'm just telling you, don't go out today, right? Or come over here. That's an amr, a commanding. Come over here. You can't say false. The statement, it doesn't require you to either prove it that it's accurate or not, right? So with factual statements, jumla khabariya, you can prove it correct or you can prove it false. But with jumla insha'iyya, there's no proving it because it's a jumla insha'iyya, right? Or if I say, are you okay today? Then you say false. The statement, it doesn't need to be proven false or true, right? I'm asking the state that you're in. You're either okay, you're not okay, maybe you're sick, maybe you're sleepy, maybe you're hungry. I'm asking your state. I don't need you to say, okay, this statement is correct or this statement is false, right? So that's jumla insha'iyya. The other kind of insha is tamanni, wishful thinking. Yeah? I wish my son was here. You're just wishing. Somebody cannot respond and say false. That is a false statement. What do you mean that's a false statement? That's my wish. You cannot call my wish a false statement. That's my desire, my wish, right? So you cannot say false or true, or you cannot, right? You cannot dismiss the fact or the factual aspect of this statement because there's no fact in it. It's just an emotional thing, right? Or taraji, hopeful thinking. I hope you pass the exams. It's just my hope. It's a hope. You cannot say, oh, yeah, that's a fact. What do you mean that's a fact? It's not a fact. I'm just hoping, right? The other kind is al-ard with tahdid. Al-ard is a soft kind of urging somebody to do something in a soft way. And al-tahdid is a harsh. Okay. So yeah, let's go over the difference between jumla insha'iyya and jumla khabariyya first before we go into this so that we understand the difference between the two. Okay. So let's look at, maybe I could write here a couple of examples. Let's say it's Tuesday. This is a sentence. It is Tuesday. Mubtada khabar, right? Jumla ismiya, it's a complete sentence, right? Now let's look at the same example and we make a jumla insha'iyya. Okay, so one of these sentences is a khabariya sentence. One of these sentences is an insha'iyya sentence. Now, a khabariya sentence is a sentence that it's factual, in that you can either dispute that fact or you can attest to that fact. So if I say it's Tuesday, all right, you can come to me and say, no, Ilham, it's not Tuesday. This is a false statement. You are making a false statement. This argument of yours is false because today is not actually Tuesday. It's Saturday. So I can say false. This statement is false. The whole statement, right? The whole statement, not the answer to it. Not that it's not a jawab, a question and an answer. No, I am saying that this whole statement is false or this whole statement is true. So a jumla khabariya, I can either call it a false statement or I can call it a true statement. Either if in fact today is Tuesday, then I will say this is a true statement you're making. But if today is not a Tuesday, then I'll say, no, Ilham, this is a false statement you're making. This khabar, this information that you're giving is false. Or this khabar is actually true. That's why we call it khabariya. Because the information, the sentence gives you an information. And this information can either be true or can be false. It's a khabar, it's just information. And depending on whether this information is true, we'll call it true. Or if this information is false, we'll say it's false. So now, because I said it's Tuesday, and we know for a fact that today is not Tuesday, I will say, no, this statement is false. Today is actually Saturday, right? So this is a jumla khabariya. It gives information, right? It gives information, and that information can either be classified as true or can be classified as false, depending on the reality. What is the reality? For example, if I say it's December, is it December right now? No, this is false statement. It's a khabariya. You're giving me information, but this information turns out to be false. It's not true. But if I say it's January, then you say, yeah, today, yeah, it is actually January 2026. This statement is true. It could be a number of things. It could be, for example, Ahmed is sleeping. Ahmed is sleeping. This is an information. I'm giving you information. Is it actually true? That's a different case, right? So a khabariya is a type of sentence that gives you information, and this information can either be classified as true information or false information, right? Now let's look at a jumla insha'iyya. I wish it was Tuesday. Or more commonly, people wish, oh, I wish it was Friday, so that the weekend can begin. So if I say I wish it was Tuesday, can you classify this statement as false or true? You cannot say, okay, this statement is false because reality shows that you cannot wish for. No, this, yani, it doesn't make sense. You cannot falsify my wish. You cannot say that this statement is false or true. Right? Do you see the difference? Because this statement has nothing to do with reality. It has nothing to do with the way things. It's just my desire. I desire this to be like this. Like just I can desire the reality to change. It has nothing to do with the way things actually are. You understand the difference? So I cannot come and say that factually speaking, this statement is false. I cannot do that. Because this statement has nothing to do with facts. It has nothing to do with reality. It has nothing to do with giving information. I'm not giving you a particular kind of information. I'm just expressing my desires, my wish, right? Or if I say, don't, oops. Why is the phone changing? Okay. Don't eat that food. Don't eat that food. I'm not trying to pass any information. I'm not telling you about history or passing down I'm not telling you the rotation of the sun. This is the information. It's not a factual thing, right? I'm actually expressing my frustration or my negation. I don't want you to do this thing. This is my desire. It's not a reality. It's not a fact. It's not information of any kind, right? So it has nothing to do with reality. I cannot say that this statement is false or true. I cannot call it a factual statement or a false statement or a true statement. It has nothing to do with reality, right? But if I said, for example, you are eating that food. Now, this is information. I am giving you information that you, as a matter of fact, are eating that food. Now, you can either look back at me and say, that's a false statement. I'm not eating this food. I'm actually smelling it. The reality is that I'm smelling it. I'm not actually eating it. I'm smelling it, right? Or I'm swallowing it. You can dispute this statement because it's a factual statement of reality. It's an information that can be disputed or proven. But this statement, don't eat that food, you cannot prove this. How can you prove this? You cannot say, okay, this is a factual statement. I can prove this on. So it doesn't make sense. So that's the difference between khabariya and insha'iyya. I hope that's clear, right? Yes, talab is jumla insha'iyya. Talab is jumla insha'iyya. So always fa sababiyya is preceded by a jumla insha'iyya. Always, right? Something that you cannot disprove, something that you cannot call a factual statement, something that is not giving you any information. It's just you expressing a particular desire, or you commanding somebody, or you forbidding somebody, or making dua. Again, just expressing desires and expressing your own wishes. This is jumla insha'iyya. Or urging somebody to do something, right? I am not making a factual statement. I'm just encouraging you. I'm inciting you. I'm trying to, again, just my desires, my emotions, and so on and so forth. So jumla insha'iyya is very emotional, while jumla khabariya is very factual. That's another way you can look at it. Is that clear? Are we good so far?
Selham, you're eating that food. Could you please explain that statement, how it will become a jumla,
Khabariya?
this one, khabariya?
Yeah, so I'm giving you information. Or maybe if I, let's not say you, let's say Ahmed. Ahmed is eating. Maybe you didn't know who is eating this food. So I'm giving you information. I'm telling you Ahmed is eating that food. Stay away from that food. So I've given you information, right? But if I say, for example, let's make it a question. Is Ahmed eating that food? Now, this is not a factual statement. I'm not giving you information. I'm actually requesting for information. Now I'm asking you to tell me who is eating this food. So the answer is either yes or no. So it's not a factual statement, it's a request for information, right? So you see the difference. This one, I'm giving you information. I'm telling you for a fact that this is the case. You can either disprove this and say, no, it is Muhammad who is eating this food. It's not Ahmed. So this statement is false, right? If it's Muhammad who is eating, then Ahmed is not eating this food, and therefore this statement that I made is actually false, right? So that becomes a khabariya information. But if I make it into a sentence, is Ahmed eating this food? That's not a fact. That's not information that I'm giving you. I cannot say, is Ahmed is eating this food? And you say, yeah, that's actually true. What do you mean that's actually true? I'm asking you, is he eating? You tell me yes or no. Yeah. And the yes or no would actually be a jumla khabariya because now that's information that you have given me. Factual and informative, exactly. Khabariya. And emotional and يعني just desire, not factual, this would be إنشائية. Sayyida Fahima, is that clear? Did you see the difference between these two?
Yes, Salam. Jazakallah.
Oh, yeah, cool. Exactly, Sister Fauzia. Exactly. Right. That's basically it. You can just break it down like that. Mhm.
So it's like, for example, when you have a jumla inshaiya, you can have a connecting statement. Now, what I'm really thinking is that you can negate both of them, right? If somebody says, "Don't eat that food," and no, I will. No, I will. So it is like you can go otherwise in both the cases. But the thing is, when you have two statements, you will not put fa in the khabar inshaiya, right? But when there is uh, uh, no, sorry, when it is jumla khabariya, you will not put a fa in between. But when you are going the other way around with jumla inshaiya, you will put a fa in between. Is that the difference?
So no, okay, listen. So you have, okay. So fa can come in any sentence because remember last time we talked about fa, there are how many different kinds of fa? So many different kinds of fa. A fa, harf ataf, can come in a jumla khabariya, no problem. Ahmed entered, then Muhammad. I'm giving you information as to the order of who entered, so that you can have a fa harf atuf, you can have different kinds of fa that we talked about last time in a jumla khabariya. But in fa sababiyya, specifically fa sababiyya, we are saying there's no kind of jumla khabariya in fa sababiyya. There's only insha'iyya. If you see a jumla insha'iyya, then a fa, then a fi'l mudari' that is mansoob, definitely this fa is fa sababiyya. That's what we're saying.
Okay,
Yeah?
got it.
Okay,
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
great.
I think one more clarification. When we did this Wastan with Al Kalam Institute, they included, besides Talab, a Nafi also.
Yeah, Nafi. It's here.
So Nafi is also part of it, Nafi or Talab. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like I didn't discuss so much on Nafi because we understand what Nafi is. Negation. Negating jumla ismiya, negating jumla fi'aliya, it doesn't matter. We know what Nafi is. So any kind of negation that comes before it, and then you have a fa, and then a fi'al mudari' that is mansoob, this fa is going to be fa sababi.
Okay. So what I gather out of is in all these situations, whether it's a Nafi, Talab, and going back to question and nahi istifham and so on, if you find a fa and you find a mudari that is mansoob, you know it is sababiyya, right?
Precisely. And that's why Where is it? Where's my summary?
Don't think there's any reason why this is mudare is mansub. So we know that this is a fa sababiyya. There's an and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I had, oh, here. So here, just this summary, how to identify fa sababiyya. Ask yourself,
Mm.
if there is a talab or a nafi. This is the first step. What came before? Is it nafi or a talab?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first
Mm-hmm.
question. The second question, ask yourself if the second part of the fa is as a result of the first part. Like, is there a correlation between the first part and the second? Is B a result of A? Is A a reason for B? This is the second question you ask yourself. The third question is you ask yourself, if the mudari' after fa, is it mansub? Now, if all the answers to these questions are yes, then you have a fa sababiyya,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Can fa sababiyya come before a jumla ismiya?
Yeah.
I know my yeah.
As long
So
as
in
that
that
jumla
case,
ismiya falls under a nafi or a talab.
okay. No. After fa we see a mudare, right? But after fa, can we see a jumla ismiya?
No,
Is there?
no,
No, it can't be. Okay.
you
So
can't
it
see
is
a jumla
not
ismiya.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Okay. So it's just what I wanted to do is just to make sure that you understand what a talab is. That's the most important discussion on fa sababiyya. If you understand what a talab is, then you understand fa sababiyya. And we've mentioned forbidding, right? We know what a forbidding is. وَالنَّهْيُ عَنْهُ. When we were doing sarf, we were like, وَالْأَمْرُ مِنْهُ وَالنَّهْيُ عَنْهُ. So that's the forbidding, the nahi part. Yeah? Don't come here. Don't eat that food. Don't drink this. Don't sleep. Yani this don't business, like forbidding somebody, we're familiar with that. Amr, we're also familiar with Amr, commanding somebody, come here, eat this, take this, go there. All these are awamir, these are commands. And so when you're commanding somebody, this is not khabariya, this is insha'iyya. Yeah, because it's not a factual statement. It's not information, right? Then you have istifham, also again, question words. هل or hamzatul istifham, or hal, or man, or mata, or all these question words. So that would be under istifham. Tamanni, wishful thinking. So tamanni is asa, mostly asa, right? I wish. And then you have taraji.
Laita will also fall into it.
Sorry, tamanni is later. Taraji is asa, right? Yeah. So tamanni is later. Later, and then taraji is asa. لعل عسى, that would be taraji. And then you have al-ard والتحضيض. Al-ard most of the time is ala. Ala. Yeah, a soft kind of urging somebody. ألا تأكل, will you not eat? Yeah. ألا تصلي, will you not pray? Soft kind of urging. I'm urging you to pray. But I don't say it in a way that, it's forceful, or yeah, it's very soft kind of. Yeah, ألا تصلي, ألا تأكل, ألا تأتي, will you not come? And then you have تحضيض. Now this is a kind of forceful, harsh type of, like I'm almost يعني condemning you in a way, yeah, with تحضيض. So this is where you have words like لولا, if only you did this. Like I'm almost asking you, why didn't you do this? So you can see how it's more forceful, like as opposed to ala. Ala is soft. Will you not? But laula, had you not done this, if only you did this, right? And then of course, lastly, we have dua. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة, right? So when I'm asking Allah, I'm expressing my emotions to Allah. You cannot say false. This statement is false. What do you mean this statement is false? Or this statement is informative. What information is it giving you? This is just my conversation between me and my Rabb. So this is emotional. Yeah. So again, you can see so this is what makes a talab, all this. This is what a talab is, right? I'm going to skip these examples in English or maybe we can just do one or two so that you can see what it means to have fa sababiyya in English, right? So for example, if I say, Do not go there. Do not. What kind of a sentence is that? That's a forbidding. Nahi, right? Do not go there. Then you have otherwise. Now, this is the fa. Sometimes we translate this fa as otherwise. We translate it as lest. We translate it as or else. Sometimes you can even translate as so that, depending on the sentence, right? So here we'll say otherwise, what will happen? Because remember, one is A is a reason for B, and B is a result of A. So B, I will not come to you. Do not go there, otherwise I will not come with you. Sorry, will not come with you. So you can see the reason for me not coming is because you went there. You going there is a reason for me not coming, right? So that's how you understand fa sababiyya. Or for example, I wish my son came back. So this so here would be the fa. I wish. What kind of a sentence is that? That is tamanni, right? You're wishing, right? So this so would be the fa. And what would be the result, or what would be the what is the reason for this not coming back? I might be happy. So that I might be happy. So the reason for my happiness is my son coming back. My son coming back is the reason for my happiness, or my happiness is the result of my son coming back, right? So that's just in English, just to see how fa sababiyya works. Now I'm gonna give you, we can look at some examples just very briefly, each one, and we just see how it works. So for example, for forbidding, I didn't do, oh, I did nafi, okay. So you have in Bayina, when we were doing our Bayina studies, we learned only on forbidding and commanding. We didn't do these other structures, right? So I added this other structure. So when we were doing first Sababiyya in the Bayina curriculum, we did nahi, forbidding, and commanding. And that's when we talked about talab and jawabut talab, if you remember something like that. So for example here, if I'm forbidding, لا تؤذي غيرك. Do not harm others, or do not harm other than you. Do not harm anybody other than you. So لا تؤذي غيرك. Do not harm others. فيذهب الناس عنك. فيذهب الناس عنك. So now you see here we'll translate as this as lest. Lest people go away from you. What is the result of you harming others? The result is that people will move away from you. Now let's look at the condition. Do we have a nafi or a talab before? We can clearly see this is a talab. Which kind of a talab? A forbidding kind of a talab, right? Then you have fi'al mudari' after it, that is mansoob. There you go. Right? So this fa is fa sababiyya. Now commanding, same thing as forbidding. ادرس بجهد فتنجح. Study. I'm commanding you to study. Study hard or with a lot of effort, so that what? So that you succeed. Or as a result of that, you will succeed. Again, you can also translate this as a result of. Because again, B is a result of A. Part A. So B is a result of A. So you can say as a result of your studying hard, you will succeed. Then we have nafi. So again, like I said, negation, either with using la, ma, laysa, all the kinds of different negations that you know how to do negation apply, right? So لا يقصر الطالب في الدراسة فيخسر. The student shouldn't. Now remember, لا يقصر here, we have negation plus the huwa version. This is not لا تقصر. لا تقصر, this would be forbidding. But لا يقصر هو. لا يقصر. The student shouldn't, or the student does not fall short in his studies, lest he loses. Again, you see how we translate it. Lest. Or as a result, he loses. Yeah? Question. هل تأتينا فتحدثنا? Will you come to us and as a result, talk to us, keep us company, bond with us, right? هل تأتينا فتحدثنا? Right? So you coming is the reason for speaking or bonding with us and having a conversation with us. Or Us conversing with you is as a result of you coming, right? Same thing with the tamanni later. I wish I went with them, and as a result, I would have benefited like them. Yeah. ليتني ذهبت معهم فأستفيد مثلهم. Right? فأستفيد مثلهم. Same thing with hopeful thinking. Like we said, hopeful thinking, you have several particles. Most of the ones that are commonly used is لعل and عسى. Like, I hope this happened. لعل عسى. You can also use لو and هل, but I don't want to get into so much details about that because لو is a very interesting character, this لو. We know لو شرطية, right? Now we're seeing لو can be ترجي. لو can also be تحديد, right? لو can also be a bunch of other number of things. It doesn't have to be شرطية. So لو is a very interesting character, this one. هل question also can be used in a form of wishing, like in a form of a question, but you're expressing your emotions, your wishes. Yeah, just like we normally say. How do we normally say it? I can't think of an example right now of hal, but just know that hal can also be used in that sense. And then of course we have dua. When you're making dua, for example, Rab, shake them beneath their feet, and as a result, they are perished or they're annihilated, right? So in that sense, when you're making dua, you can also have this fa sababiyya. We talked about soft edging and harsh edging. So ألا تذهب معنا? Won't you go with us so that we can enjoy together, right? فنستمتع معا. Won't you? This is ألا. But then you have the kind of strong تحديد, harsh urging somebody in a very harsh, forceful manner. لولا ذهبنا معنا فنستمتع معا. If only you went with us, and as a result, we would have enjoyed together, right? So there are a number of them. The most common one is لولا, but also, or لولا and لوما. This one's are more common. Also هلا, actually. هلا is also a common one, but then the other is not so common. Don't worry so much about that. And like we said, how do you identify fa sababiyya? This is the summary. This is the gist of it. If you don't take anything from this class and you only take this, then khalas, you've understood fa sababiyya. This is it. So ask yourself if there's a talab or a nafi. Ask yourself if the second part of the fa is a result of the first part. Ask yourself if the mudari' is mansub. And if all the answers are yes, then you have yourself a fa sababiyya. Yes, Sayyida Samia, you have a question?
Yeah, when we're talking about this Amar, so how do you will you treat this as Jawabut Talb or Jawabut Talb is different?
Yeah, جواب طلب,
Like
جواب
that
الأمر.
Jawabul Amr, but Jawabul
If
Amr is always Madhum, right?
look, so we'll treat this as جواب الأمر if it is مجزوم. But if there's a fatha on
Yeah.
it, then we will say this is منصوب بأن مضمرة.
Okay, but we'll still treat it as Jawab.
The whole thing we can say في محل جزم. جواب.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Clear?
okay. Clear. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions?
Everybody awake?
Sababiyya is
we are good.
messing with
Alhamdulillah.
everybody. Have a hidden end. Yeah, you have so no, as far as fa is concerned, fa sababiyya is the only one that makes mudari' mansub, and the reason for making it mudari' mansub is not because the fa makes it mansub, but because it's the an that is hidden that makes it mansub. So it's only fa sababiyya. No other fas make anything mansub, right? So this is specific for fa sababiyya.
Why do we put an?
Sorry?
If you put an, in this won't become a masdar.
It will be. Yeah, مصدر مؤول.
It will. Okay. So why do we want to make it masdar? I know it's a weird question.
It's not that we want, I don't know if the goal is we want to make it masdar. We want to understand why it's mansub. So we know
Okay, so
nothing
just
cannot just be mansub for the sake of it. The default status of any word in Arabic is marfu'. That's the default. If we see
okay.
mansub, if we see majzoom, if we see majroor, we have to ask why is that the case? And since
Okay.
fa by
Mm-hmm.
itself, fa does not do any job. Like it's not like
Okay.
harf jar, right?
Okay.
So what is the
Okay.
reason for it being mansub? We assume there's an an. That is the one that is
There's
doing the job.
okay. So by grammar, we will not consider it as masdar muawwal. It is just a differentiation an, right?
It will be considered an masdar mu'awwal.
It will be okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah
Yeah,
khair.
cool. I don't know if I answered that the best to my ability, but I hope you. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I get your question, because
Yeah,
now that
because
would change it from a jumla fi'aliya to a jumla ismiya.
yeah, and an incomplete jumla ismiya, right? Because we
Um,
have one ism and then where is the rest of that? So it is like an incomplete jumla ismiya.
uh, in that case, then there's probably a hadf. There's something that is also again omitted or hidden. Maybe the khabar is
Hmm.
omitted or hidden in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Implied something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Um, okay. Yeah, so maybe I will just share these notes. You guys can work out these exercises on your own. And if you have any questions, you can post them on the group. Inshallah, we can take a look.
Mr. Lam, do you know of any grammar book which has exercises so we can, take those exercises on different concepts on anything? All we see is textbooks, no exercises, nothing at all. Are you aware of some PDF or anything where exercises are given so that we can, from time to time brush our skills off?
I think there are a number. There's one that, I found and then it was asking me to pay, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to pay for this. And then I think there's another one, but it's not. I mean, it's mostly do the i'rab of this, do the i'rab of that. So it's not proper exercises where you can actually test your knowledge. I mean, it's mostly i'rab. So فعل فاعل مفعول به. If that's what you're looking for, I think I came across something like that. And also I think uh what is the name for this guy that did Medina books? The Medina Arabic books. I think he has some exercises as well. But again, they're also very basic. I took a look and it was just very basic, to be honest. Yeah, all my classes, I do exercises from the Quran specifically. There's no exercise from like because we're doing Quranic Arabic, so for me it makes sense to do exercises from the Quran. So all my classes, like the class that I've done, you would find exercises from the Quran. So you'd find something like this at the end of the lesson, right? But I would try and find out and I will share with you guys, inshallah. Yeah, I know it's important to have these exercises. It's not very common, and especially considering our Baina curriculum. I wish Baina could come up with something like that. Although I think they did, but we've already done those, so we want something new, I guess, or something. فَأَلْ فَسِيحَة. So fal fasiha, we talked about it last time. Fal fasiha is the kind of where are we? Is the kind of fa that gives explanation of something that is hidden, right? Something that is hidden. Most of the time is a jumla shartiya. So where is fal fasiha? So it connects an implied sentence and it offers clarity of explanation to the sentence. So this is the example I like to give because it's an example that it's very easy to understand and we cannot easily forget. Let's translate this. Does any one of you love to eat the dead flesh of his brother? And then it goes on to say, you would hate it. Now, what is it that you would hate? Right? The fact that you ate it. If you eat it, you would hate it. So you realize that there's something missing here. Only after you eat it, that's when you will hate it. It's not that just this whole concept, you would hate this concept of it's not that this is what you're hating. You have to understand, right? It's not the idea of eating the dead flesh of your brother that you would hate. No, the fact is that you would hate to do it. If you ate it, you would hate it. So you can see there's something that is omitted. You would only hate the thing that you have done, right? It's not this idea that you're hating, it's the fact that you've eaten it, you would hate it. So you can see that there's something omitted, there's something missing, and it's normally a jumla shartiya, right? It's normally إن صح ذلك أو إذا أكلت ذلك فكرهتموه. Or يعني أكلتم, because now here it's جمع. If you all ate it, you would hate it. Okay, so that's fasiha. So now this fa is coming here to tell you that there's something that has been omitted, something that is supposed to be there, and you can easily understood from the context, but it hasn't been said. And what is that something that has been omitted and missing? This particular part. So that's fa. This you can look at it as this omission is replaced by fa. Is replaced by fa. Fa, you would hate it. Yani fa means something has been omitted, and therefore this is the explanation for that. Maybe I will look for more examples of this fa al-fasiha because this is another one that a lot of people ask questions about and they can't really distinction. Inshallah, I will look for more examples and especially the difference between this al-fasiha and al-tafriya because they're very similar, and then I will post it in the group, inshallah.
Sister
Is
Ilham,
it already?
I was thinking, I'm sorry, can I say
Please,
something?
please go.
Yeah, thank you. So I was saying, Sister Ilham, would you love to eat the dead flesh of one of your brother? So it seems like it is already understood, and what I didn't get it is like if you ate it, you hate it, right? So if you ate it, it's not supposed to be there. So that is an implied sentence which you understood. So that's why we are using find that. Am I correct?
Exactly, because you already understand. I don't have to say. If I say if you ate it, it's sort of like a repetition of some sort. Not really a repetition, but you already understand the concept that hating this fact only comes after eating it. You cannot hate it if you didn't eat it, right? So eating the
Does it
flesh,
comes with a question all the time? No, right?
no, not necessarily. No,
No.
it can come in any form. And that's something I need to explore and find examples and share with you. And inshallah, hopefully it'll become more clear. I only have one example here, so maybe that's why it's not very clear. But I will look for more and I would share, inshallah, hopefully make it more clear.
Sister Ilham, one more doubt I had. I was looking at your video. So in that, fa as-sababiyah and fa ar-rabita, and this both I found it almost same. If you give me a sentence, I would not be able to make it out. Sababi also you're giving a reason because of this happened, and rabita to is something like it's a shart, right? If you do this,
Shart, you just said it. Shart. So there has to be
so
a condition.
so when you give a sababi also, there's something, right? because of this, this happened. It gives a reason, right? Am I
But
correct? It's,
yes, it gives a reason, but it's not a condition. This is when I say when you're talking about a conditional statement, uh,
I don't
in
remember the examples you gave, but almost I found it same. The Rabita, Sabibia, even Ta'lil, I found it same. Almost everything same. It was.
yeah, I know it can be confusing because sababiyya is like almost like a condition, but it's not really a condition. So the easiest way you can understand is that in Arabic we have adawatu shart, right? We have
Yes, yes.
tools for shart. If you see a tool for shart, for example, you see either. You see either, immediately that's a shart. You see in a shartiya, that's a shart. You see man shartiya, that's a shart, right? So automatically
Yeah.
that fa is going to be fa arabita. But you see when we talked about fa sababiyya, there was no idha, there was no in, there was no shart. It was just nahi, nafi, dua, so these other kinds of things. So that's probably how you can distinguish between fa al-rabita and fa al-sababiyya. Because fa al-rabita, there's going to be a shart. So you look for adawatu shart. And fa al-sababiyya, there's going to be a talab or a nafi. So you look for talab and nafi. The meaning might be very close to, I get what you mean, what you're saying. It can be very confusing because if I say, if you study hard, you would pass. That's a
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
this one kind of sounds like sababiyya. Like this is the cause for this one, and this one is the result of this one. But you see, the only difference is that in sababiyya, I added the if. If you study, so that's a condition. If you do this, then this would happen. But in fa sababiyya, it's not an if-then question. Is I'm commanding you, study. Or I'm saying don't study. Or I'm making a dua. And as a result of that dua, this happens. Right? So that could be the difference. So it's not necessarily a condition of.
Still, now one more last one. Can you explain the difference between fa at-ta'lil and fa as-sabibiyya? It also indicates a reason for something. That also it gives a reason to. It connects the reason to a consequence. You said, right?
Yes.
Even I feel like sababiyya and ta'lil is also the same. Am I?
The
Can you
only
please explain me?
reason, the only difference is that fa sababiyya, what comes before it? Nafi, talab. Fa
Talab.
at-ta'lil
Okay.
doesn't have to have a nafi or a talab. Like just as you can see, it can be any kind of sentence, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it
give
can
me
be any
the
kind of
sentence.
sentence. However, in this particular one, the example that I gave you, you can actually see that it is more like a command, more like an amr. ساعد المحتاج. So that could be a bit confusing because now this is sounding like a talab. But when you look at the answer, what do we have? We don't have a mudara. We don't have a mudara that is mansub. So that's another difference between fa as-sababiyya and fa at-ta'lil.
Oh, means in sababiyya we won't get after fa we get mudari this mansoob and
Mansub.
in fa sababiyya, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
You don't
So
get
remember
jumla ismiyya.
this list. This is it. All the answers have to be yes. That's the thing. If one answer is like, for example, you don't have a mudari' that is mansub, khalas, not fa sababiyya. If there's not a reason, something else, then not fa sababiyya. If there's no talab or nafi, not fa sababiyya. So all these three, they have to be yes.
And now in this example which you were showing me, Sister Ilham, study, in that it's the only reason it is fa as ta'lil is because it next to it is, although it sounds like a commanding one, but because of this jumla ismiya, it comes under ta'lil. Am I correct?
Yes, precisely.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Ayyakum. Any other questions?
Isn't in Talil the reason is coming after? And in Sababiyya, the reason is coming before.
That's also another reason. That's also another difference, sorry. Yeah, that's also another reason, difference. So in Sababiyya, the reason is before. So udrus bijuhdin, this is the reason. And then tanjaha is the result, in a sense.
Yeah.
But here you can see huwa akhuka fi الدين في الإنسانية. This is the reason.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the reverse way.
Yes, it's the reverse. Yeah. Yeah, they're very similar actually, but yeah, it's just very technical things, very, very small technicalities that makes the difference. Any
Okay,
other
so
questions?
our brain is in Sababiyah mode or Talil mode. I don't know.
Since we're already at the hour, maybe we could just do examples of this first sababiyya and we can, and then maybe next time we can do the ta'bir. What do you guys think?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, maybe we can do like 3 examples and just to see how it. Can you please? Oh, okay. Indigestion body, exactly. Subhanallah. So, ربي لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق وأكن من الصالحين. All right. So I've already highlighted for you even the talab or the nafi part. So that makes it a bit easier. But let's see. What do you think, Laula? What kind of talab or nafi is that? Is it, first of all, is it a nafi? It's obviously not a nafi. So we're looking at talab. So what kind of a talab is that? Right?
It's
So you can,
Tarajja, right?
sorry?
Tarajja?
أرجين
Laula.
Laula.
آه،
Oh, it
أرجين
is like
أرجين
Tarajja or
أرجين
the other one. What was that?
أرجين soft
Yes, this is
soft
urging
أرجين
somebody. It's a hard, it's a forceful kind of urging, right? تحضيض.
okay
Tahaddi.
Yeah, very hard word for very hard concept, right? تحضيض. So this is
Oh,
تحضيض. Okay, so we figure that out. That's so remember the process. What is the process? Ask yourself if there's a talab or a nafi. We figure that part out. The second question, ask yourself the second part of the fa is a result of the first part. And then we would see if the mudari' is mansud. So ربي لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق. My Rabb, if only you delayed me to a close appointed time. فأصدق, and as a result of that, I would have given charity. وأكن من الصالحين, and I would also be from the صالحين, right? So is the first part the reason for the second part? Yes, because if you delay me, I would do sadaqah, or my sadaqah is a result of you delaying me. So we can already see the connection there is. Now I look at the fi'al that comes after it. Is it مضارع منصوب? What do you guys think? What kind of
yeah
fi'al is this?
yeah, it is. It is
Yes,
this
an
أنا
yes. أنا version. It was supposed to be أتصدق. So there's idgham that happened here. It was تصدق يتصدق. أنا أتصدق. But then the ta and the sad, they were merged. And we talked about this concept. For those of you who are following Surah Al-Hadid, it's basically an intense form of sadaqah. It's not just some simple kind of sadaqah, like I would do some major sadaqah, right? Atasaddaq, as-saddaq, right? So as-saddaqa, it's not as-saddaqu. So we see it's mudari' mansub. So all the conditions have been fulfilled, and therefore this is fa sababiyah. The other one,
Is this
فهل لنا.
is this,
Go on.
is this Rubai? Which
Um,
family is this?
أتصدق
Yeah.
تصدق يتصدق, family 5.
Where's the ta?
It has been merged, it has been fused
Oh,
with the sad. So you see
okay.
the shadda here? So it was
Yeah.
تصدق, يعني أتصدق, but then the ta and the
Oh.
sad, they fused together, and now you have a shadda. الصدق. It's not أصدق, الصدق.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so sometimes you have idgham and you have infak, like in fikak. So sometimes letters are fused together to show intensity or to show extreme nature of something. And then sometimes you have separation, like man yushaqiq illah, and sometimes you have man yushaq illah. So sometimes the Quran would split would use the split version. Sometimes they would use the idgham version, the merged version, and it would give different meanings. That's the beauty of the Quran. Okay. So you have فَهَلْ لَنَا مِن شُفَعَاءَ فَيَشْفَعُوا لَنَا. So we have هل. It's a question, right? So that one everybody knows. Yes. Second istifham, and the first sababiyya is followed by that version. Of whom? Precise of, yes, of whom. Exactly. So it was يشفعون, right? Whom? يشفعون. But the noon went away. Why? Because this is mansub. So we can already see that the mudari' is mansub. So we can see all the conditions I have fulfilled. And this, the shafa'a, the intercession, is the result of us having intercessors. If we have intercessors, or us having intercessors is a reason for them doing intercession for us, for them doing shafa'a for us. So you can see the relationship is clearly stated there. We can do the last one, number 3, and then we can stop there, inshallah. وَأَنْفِقُوا. Did I miss something here? Oh, no, I didn't. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولَ. It continues, obviously. I cut it here because we're just interested with the fa sababiyya part. Okay, so what do you guys think? The sentence before fa, this whole sentence is before fa. What does it look like?
It's
Command.
it's command.
أنفقوا. Right. It's command.
Aslam.
Exactly. Precisely. So now we have طلبية, جملة إنشائية. And then we have فيقول. We can already see مضارع منصوب. So this فا is فا سببية. ويقول منصوب بأن مضمرة. And يقول is منصوب with an أن that is مضمرة. That's how you identify fa sababiyya. Isn't that easy, guys? You know, we imagine fa sababiyya is so difficult, but when you do it practically, you see, okay, what is there before? Is it a talab or a nahi, a nafi? If the answer is yes, fine. Okay, let's go to the second thing. Is this a result of that? Yes. Is the mudari' mansub? Yes. Done. You have fa sababiyya. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, examples really help. Examples, too much explanation, sometimes you're lost. But then you see it in an example and you do it practically, you're like, this is not so hard. Yeah, because I get it. So you see Rabbana here, this is a dua. La'alla, this is wishful thinking, right? Later, this is, this is tamanni. La'alla here is taraji. You have nafi. You have nahi, right? So, yeah, once you get it, it just becomes very easy. Any other questions or clarifications?
When will you get it quickly?
Practice. Inshallah, once you do these exercises again, and then you yourself go to the Quran and just try and find fa in the Quran and see what kind of fa is this. Yeah, so you can just go to Furqan tafsir.app, al-Bahith al-Qur'ani, and then you just look for the different, search for fa, and then see, or type in la'alla and see what comes after it. Type in later, see what comes after it. Or lawla, and see what comes after it. And if you see that this is a fa, or just type fa, and then just try and figure out the exact kind of fa. Is it fa harf atif? Is it istinaf? Is it rabita? Is it, za'ida? What's happening? I think if you do that, it become very good. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Try this one. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. What do you guys think? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good exercise. So فَوَكَزَهُ. Is that talab or nafi? Do we see, first of all, we don't see any nafi there. So there's no negation. right? Then we have to ask ourselves, is there a talab there? وَكَزَهُ Musa. Sounds like information to me. It doesn't sound like any insha. Musa overcame him, overpowered him, right? Punched him. That's information. So already we're not even in fast Sababiyya world. Because already the first condition of a fast Sababiyya is that it has to be either talab or nafi. We didn't find a nafi, we didn't find a talab. So this next fa, فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ, is not going to be fast Sababiyya. So now you have to ask yourself, what kind of a fa is this going to be? Is it going to be fa harf atif? Possibly. Is it going to be fa ta'liliya? Possibly. Possibly. This is the reason. No, no, it's not the
It
reason.
just
It's not
happened.
Fatah Ali. No,
Yeah.
it's not the reason.
It's
Yeah.
like chronological events,
Yes. So fa
right?
حرف عطف
Mm.
للترتيب والترقيب. So
Yeah.
it's just عطف. Yeah. The word after fa in NF, you can't see the mansub status. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
And قضى is فعل ماضي. It's not even فعل مضارع. So you see, this is how you just start eliminating. Yeah. So it's just showing the chronology. What happened after Musa punched him? He punched him. Immediately, he died. I mean, it's possible to think that, you know, he died as a result of Musa's punch. So that's one way. But are the other conditions fulfilled? For example, do we have a nafi? Do we have a talab? No. So it cannot be fa sababiyya. Even though it looks that the dying is a result of punching. So that condition was fulfilled, but the other conditions were not fulfilled. Yeah. Yeah, you can look it up and maybe see what the Mufassirun, maybe probably some of the scholars may have called this Fa Sababiyya. It's possible. But from the explanation of what a Fa Sababiyya is, those conditions have to be met. Even though some might probably consider this a Fa Sababiyya. Allah Ta'ala Alam. I would actually check it and see what the Arab books say about this particular ayah. And most likely somebody might actually look at this as Fa at-Tafri' as well. Fa Tafri' makes the most sense in this particular ayah. And I would explain what Fa Tafri' is, inshallah, with examples so that it becomes clear. All right. Any other questions, clarifications? Okay, that was good. Alhamdulillah. We didn't get to do any ta'bir, but that's fine. I think revision is also more important. We can end there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. They say it at precisely makes the most sense as عرف عطف. This, then that. Yeah, that is the most logical thing in this. So you see how by elimination, we eliminated every single fa and we came to the right one. Yeah, that's how you do it. Fantastic. All right, great. Alhamdulillah. So go search for different files in the Quran and just try and figure them out. It's a fun exercise thing. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
جزاك الله خيرا.
Yeah.
اسمع أنيميا العافية. آمين ثم آمين.
آمين يا رب العالمين.